Okay, cool. We are towards the end of our session today, and we have the last keynote address on destination marketing strategies. And to give that keynote address, I have Elliott Merschen, partner of an International Insights MMGY Global. He has a hard task, the last keynote address, so best of luck.
Oh, this is the most fun.
And the most fun.
It's like the
we
end
look
of the
forward to it.
It's the end of the basketball game. I've got the basket. Time to make the hoop.
That's the session for you guys.
So, thank you again. Thank you to Pata. Thank you to everybody for this opportunity. I'm very excited about it. Strap on your seatbelts. We're in for a ride. We're going to do what we call a billboard presentation. So imagine streaming down the freeway and watching billboards, because that's what we're about to do. And we're getting to a great subject, which is destination branding. And the biggest question that everybody needs to ask is it even possible to do destination branding? With all the stakeholders, all the people involved, is it possible? Well, we're going to go back to basics and talk about this. First of all, I'm going to tell you what this presentation will not do. We will not give you every answer to all your branding needs. We will not tell you the future of the global economy, and we will not make you the ultimate marketing guru. And we will not, I promise, use the word sustainability. Absolutely. What we will do is share some examples and some insights. We'll make you question your position as a destination and how you brand yourself. And we'll even challenge your creativity. And one thing I'm going to set as a standard here, don't think about these questions just about your destination. Think about them for you too, because you all have your own personal brand. So keep that in the back of your head. So just as a way of background, I'm a partner at MMGY Global. We have a mantra of we inspire people to go places. And just as a background, we have 10 offices across the US, Europe, and even in Dubai. We represent 500 people and over 600 brands throughout the world in all areas of travel, and we're 100% dedicated to the travel and tourism industry. So today's agenda, a little inkling on distribution changes, something about destination branding, and a little hint about some regional campaigns too. So let's talk about distribution and what's happened over the last few years, not just COVID related. You know, I came from the world of academics, and we used to be able to teach distribution very easily. The consumer went to the retail travel agent, who went to the wholesaler, who went to the inbound tour operator, and they bought the product. It was simple. It worked for so many years. And then what happened? The internet. Everybody jumped over everybody, and more significantly, everybody complained about everybody jumping over everybody as they went under everybody. And it complains and it continues, and the reality is when you do branding and when you do marketing, you have to hit all these elements. We recently did some focus groups, and we asked consumers how they book their travel. Now, it wouldn't surprise you if they said, well, we used a retail travel agent, or we went to an inbound tour operator, even if they knew what those labels were, or they went to a wholesaler, or they went directly to the product in the hotel. What surprised us was they were doing all of this on the same trip. So they were using the retail travel agent for this part, but then booking the train on their own because they heard about it. They were using some inbound tour operator because a friend had said, oh, when we went to Nepal, this is who we worked with. And so the consumer, especially the high-end one, wants a little more control, and they start doing things themselves, and then believe it or not, they're using their points at a hotel when they get there. So it's a whole different way of marketing, which means we have to have these touch points in all the distribution channels, and it's not going to get any easier. It just means you've got to be more fine-tuned on the way you market. So let's talk about branding, and it's the question of is it possible? And a lot of people go through a lot of incarnations of doing this, but a lot of times it's just basic. First of all, the big question is what makes my destination unique? And the real question is, if no two destinations are alike, why do they all start to look the same? Look at this, it's romantic. These are three completely different destinations in three parts of the world, but somehow their ad agencies don't know the difference, and they look the same. Look at this. After you get married, you become a romantic couple, and you have to find a hammock, because somewhere in the world there's a hammock, and you'll find it because you're romantic. None of these tell you where you're going or why you're going. This, of course, then, after you get romantic, you have a family, and of course, you just carry your kids around the beach because now you're the perfect father, because you're in this special destination. And this one is my favorite. For some reason, you have to touch the ocean. When you're on your own, you have to count to see, is the water the same here? Is it in other places? Let's travel other places. Oh no, maybe it's a little different here. Oh my gosh, maybe at night it's a little different. So why are these destinations looking like they want to be everything for everyone? So then we start to say, who are we as a destination? Who are we? Well, then we always say, well, we have a special culture. Now, we've always said that. Now we're trying to get a little more sophisticated, so we say, experience our culture. So it's not just showing it to us. And then we say, we have great history. And then we want to get a little more edgy. So we say, our history is our future. All right? This is all sounding familiar, isn't it? Because half the destinations you know, maybe even your own, is doing this right now. And then we say, we have beautiful hiking. And then you say, wait, does everybody want to hike? Oh, and walking too. And the reality is nowadays when we say hiking, hiking is just really walking with attitude, isn't it? So then we say, wait, it's not the physical attributes, it's the people. We have the friendliest people. Then we say, well, a lot of people are saying that. How are we going to differentiate? Oh, it's okay. We have so much diversity in our people. Okay, let's get a little more. We've got shopping. Come on, seriously. We've got great shopping. Yeah, but so do other places too. What do we say? Okay, we have locally curated boutiques. That'll make us different. Not anymore. And then as we heard, it's the food. We've got the best restaurants. Well, I can't really say that anymore. We have to be a little more edgy. So we have award-winning, chef-driven, food-forward eating experiences. It's a restaurant, folks. So then we have the worst, the ones who say, we have so many stakeholders, we'll tell everybody we have something for everyone, which means we have nothing unique for anyone. But sure enough, you see these campaigns all the time. And then we start using the word experience. It's not the tangible, it's the experience. To the point that everybody says we experience whatever, which means there's nothing to differentiate yourself at all. And then, of course, in the last few years, that wonderful word, authentic. Okay? And that, of course, has been used and abused. If you have to say it's authentic, it's not authentic. But I will tell you the most authentic destination in the world, it's very easy, it's Disneyland. Why? Because what they promise is exactly what they deliver. And that's being authentic. And of course, right behind Disneyland is Vegas, because it's an adult Disneyland. So, keeping that in mind, one more, which is possibly the worst campaign idea. We're just like Sydney. We're just like this, but this. We're just like that. As soon as you start going down that path, you might as well give it up and come home. All right? Because it's just not going to work. You have to define your destination. And the most important thing to remember when you're defining your destination is you're actually having to define your audience at the same time. What I am is going to be influenced by who I want. And we've heard a lot about this conference about how many people do I want? Do I want quality over quantity? Do I want longer stays? What's the type of person? And do I have what it takes? There's 8 billion people out there. You can find the audience if you look closely enough. But you have to define that audience. What type of people? Not just couples and singles and families, but what's their attitudes, their interest? What are they looking for? What kind of experience do they have it? What kind of ethnic background do you have? And you can't say, oh, we're open for everyone. That's the worst. Target, target, target. Refine as much as you can. Remember, it's your target audience. It doesn't mean you won't take others. It's just the one you want to focus on first. And as I've said before earlier in the conference, forget about the calendar. except the fact that you might have different audiences at different times of the year, which will influence the way you market. So we say find your target audience, define it, and then find it. Where are they? How can I reach them? How do I want to reach them effectively too? This is one of the stats from our research that I just absolutely love. It literally says 64% agree that the destination they visit says a lot about who they are. It's all of a sudden, if I go to Scotland, what does that say? Because I'm posting it and everybody's this, I'm going there. If I go to Nepal, what does that say? So now it's almost like, who am I dating? Who am I marrying? Who am I going out with? It's a personality. And so the destination has to stop thinking about themselves as a destination, but as a personality. You don't describe a person and say, oh, have you met this guy? You'd say, he's nice, he's sweet, he's wholesome, he's this. He wouldn't say, oh, he's balding. Oh, he's fat. Oh, he's skinny. You would talk about personality traits, and destinations need to understand that too. Now, there's 100 ways to introduce yourself, really, and most destinations have come up with slogans. Now, here's a few that just happened to me, ones that I think are noteworthy. Algeria, tourism for everybody. Need I say more? This is not going to work. Germany, simply inspiring. Now we're getting somewhere. There's inspiration. That means it's innovative. We're getting more excited. Turkey, it's all about hospitality. Be our guest. Okay, well now we're starting to get a feel for it. And absolutely one of my favorites, Mongolia, go nomadic. Because now they have clearly positioned who they are, what they want to be, and they're going to focus that. And if you want to look for marketing genius, look at Apple. And computers, they're less than 10% of all computers sold, but they do the best because they said, this is our audience and we're not wavering from that. And that makes a big difference. So these are a few, but I have to give you my favorite one. Slovakia, travel in Slovakia, good idea. Okay, I hope there's not any here from Slovakia. Anyway, we were told, and I'm a recovering academician, so when I used to teach, we used to say, it's all about your USP. What's your unique selling proposition? What makes you different from everybody else? And that, once again, goes to the idea of defining your brand. Once again, I'm going to emphasize it's defining your personality, keeping in mind that that's going to reflect the audience that you want to go to. So I'm going to ask you, in very simple terms, to do a little reflection on these nice, simple questions. There won't be a test today, but there might be later. What is your brand and what does it say? Now, for a moment, let's not think about tourism, but let's think about brand. And here's the questions I want to ask about your personality. If you were a watch, if your destination was a watch, which watch brand would it be? If you had to give every employee a watch to represent who you are, what is that brand? Let's take it another one. If you're an outdoor clothing company, because they're all different, they all have their own little personality, they all have their own little traits, and something makes them different from everybody else that's out there, what are you? There's a difference between a Patagonia and a North Face, etc., and what they stand for. Then if you're a car, you're the destination, you have to buy a car for everyone that represents the destination. Is it high-end? Is it four-wheel drive? What is it? And you don't get a garage, you get one car. And so you have to find that identity and say, okay, this is who I'm comfortable with, because then your marketing becomes so much easier. Keep this in mind too. If you had partnerships with a watch company or a car company, who would have the same DNA that you have, and how do you take that home? And of course, you might be a multi-talented personality and have different offshoots, but there's a common thread, a DNA that runs through all of those. So you can have the brand, but you can have sub-brands. Prime example is Marriott and the way they have so many different brands, but they all fall under the same umbrella. This is a great opportunity in some destinations that have different areas. If they have scuba diving or history or culture, they can do it, but they still need that same umbrella under which they do it. And to me, the most fun, if you were a celebrity, and you can't pick a celebrity from your home country, that doesn't count. If you had to pick an international celebrity, and just imagine for a minute you had an unlimited budget and he or she could be your spokesperson, who would be the one that represents you most? And when you go through this exercise, you start thinking, wow, if I can answer all these questions and fine-tune my personality, my marketing is going to be so much easier to do. Because the more I can identify myself, the more I know how to target, where to target, and when to target. Keep in mind, when you meet people, those who are most comfortable with whom they are make you feel the most comfortable too. And that applies to marketing in so many ways. And now that I've told you the basics for the USP, your unique selling proposition, I'm going to make it just a little harder because things have changed. We've always said, if I have a unique selling proposition, I can tell you why to come here. And I guess if I talk to everybody, you will tell me why I should come to wherever, why I should come to the Himalayas, why I should climb Kilimanjaro, what happens to be. You can tell me why here. And there's a lot of reasons, and they can be very specific, why here, and that's your unique selling proposition. But now in a competitive world, that's the foundation. You have to go the next step. Not only you have to tell me why here, but you have to tell me why now. I know why I need to go to Machu Picchu. I know why I need to go to Bhutan. I know why I need to go to 100 places I haven't been, but why now? What do I push up to make it number one on the list? Because that's the biggest difference that's out there. And today's environment dictates that that's what we have to do. So I'm going to relabel a 100-year classic of a unique selling proposition, the USP. You now also need a TSP, a timely selling proposition. Why do I need to go to your destination, and why do I need to do it now? As I mentioned, there's 100 ways to introduce yourself. You have to do this reflection, and then you'll know the personality to match the people you want to reach. You know, it's a big world out there, and we've got a lot of media people here, and we've talked about data and all this information. And one of the best things about the media now, that's the science of marketing, but we can't forget the art. So these media people can tell you, I can bring you to the absolute best parties. We're the exact people you want to meet, guaranteed. And I can do it at the right time, too. But if you have no personality at that party, you're going home alone. So you have to find this intersection between the art and the science. The science can bring you there, but you have to bring your personality there to make it work. And the best way to do that is to be yourself. As they say, always be yourself, everyone else is taken. That applies to the destinations too. Now, that said, when you want to partner, there's a great little program coming out from PATA, which is about the restart of tourism. And this is just a prelude. In the next few months, you're going to hear more about it, how you can partner with some of your other fellow destinations and see how we can move this restart of tourism in Asia back. And with that, I thank you for your time. Now, wait, I'm not done yet. Because Liz paid me so much money, I got authorization to do a 1-minute commercial. So can I get my presentation back up? This is called just hijacking the conference. Besides all the marketing, I want to introduce you to a new, exciting non-for-profit. It's called the Sigmund Project. And it talks about the power of collaboration. It's unique to the travel industry. So what is the Sigmund Project, and what is this power of collaboration? It's very simple. It's the first free open source platform for global innovation in travel and tourism. This was created over COVID when everybody realized the opportunity for collaboration has never been as strong as it is now. What is it? It's a non-for-profit, and we're not asking for money. We're fully funded for the next 5 years, but it's all open source where people can share their ideas for innovation in tourism. If it's a business, if it's a plan, if it's an idea, we're open to it. In a little over a year, we've had over 70,000 unique visitors to the site from 110 countries. And I might have a North American accent, but less than 20% of the people on the site are North Americans, and we have more Asian contributors than everybody else. We have over 8,000 people who've become part of the Sigmund project and 223 ideas on the site as we speak. We have a resource hub, so if you've got any innovation, let us know about it, and we'll be happy to post it. We have several support programs, and we have the heart of what we do, which is called open source. And open source allows people to put down their ideas. It's all vetted. They have to come up with the facts that they're triple bottom line, people, planet, and profit. They have to come up with their UN sustainability goals. They have to set different benchmarks before we allow them on. And we also offer them a 14-minute mentor call, which I've had over 70 of these calls so far. And if you're entrepreneurial at all, go on there. It's very inspirational for all these ideas. And the ideas have come from almost 50 countries, so I'm sure there'll be something that resonates with you. So how can you work with Sigmund? It's easy. Go to sigmund.org. Look at the ideas. You can send them a private message. I've got an idea. I can help you. You can share their ideas on email, LinkedIn, whatever you want to do. You can simply like the idea and say, this is pretty cool, and you can comment publicly. These are all smart entrepreneurs or big companies with big challenges who want to hear from you. And in our industry, we need to continue to collaborate more than ever. So go out. Maybe you have your idea, and we like to say nothing mentioned, nothing gained. Share your idea with everyone. You know, there's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go on your own. If you want to go far, go with others. The Sigmund project is one of the best opportunities for us to move the future of tourism together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan. But I have a quick question for you. Have you found out what car brand do you represent? If you were a car.
Yes. Thank you.